Kind of the purpose of having me come here today was to talk about green living. Now, I'm a green builder, but I'm really not going to be talking much about green building techniques, how to do that, but really about how to make an impact on your client's life, a mindset change of home building. Was anyone at the keynote this morning? One man. I like the people that was at the keynote. Kind of building off what he was talking about. I had no hero effect planned here, but it really is, where can we find that we can be in someone's life and make a positive impact? And that's really what we're talking about in home building here, is really changing, and also hopefully we'll talk a little bit about offering clients things they don't even know that they can do for us. We'll talk a little bit through that. Again, I'm Bryant from Asheville. I am serving currently right now as NHB's chair for Green and Sustainability Subcommittee. We have a newly formed Healthy Homes, Healthy Communities Subcommittee with NHB, serving as chair of that too. And got a Master Green designee. And then also as North Carolina representing us, I am the first vice chair of the North Carolina Home Builders Association. So again, heavily involved in this. We've been green building for 16 years. And kind of telling you a little bit about my why is right there it is. And so I've always wanted to start out anytime we get in front of somebody talking about our why. I hope everybody had a chance during the pandemic to catch up on some good quality reading. I was able to start reading the book, Start With Why. And right over here to my left is my lovely wife, and she's my wife. 16 years ago, we started building houses. And every time we went into a house to start doing a remodel, and these houses typically are closed, they're for sale, and so we were looking to purchase houses. We would be in those houses for 5 seconds, and I would turn around, and she's gone. I'm like, did you hate it that bad? She's like, I can't breathe in this house. My asthma is shutting me down. And that's literally, and I'm walking in the house, there's nothing wrong with this house. What are you talking about? And somehow or another, I thought I was cool and strong and hip because I could breathe in this house. And my lovely wife is having an asthma attack. Fast forward a little bit of time, it started making me really think, because if my wife is having this terrible of a reaction in every house we go into, it wasn't just one, this is multiple houses. We didn't buy any of those. We're now in the new construction business, partially because we couldn't buy a house to remodel because we couldn't look at it. So as we kind of fast forward that, 7 years ago, we've been green building. I've been focused on energy efficiency. We're nailing that. We're knocking it out of the park. We've built some award-winning homes, and we move into our house. And again, my wife walks in and says, Brandon, I can't breathe in this house. What are you doing? You're doing amazing things, but I can't breathe here. This is a house with nothing but windows. We live in Asheville, North Carolina. In February, it's 30 degrees at night. We've opened every window in there, and I'll never forget freezing to death and not being prepared for that temperature from going from 70 down into the 50s. We closed those windows and we froze to death that first night. But what it did make me do is go on a journey about how can my homes be healthier? How can I make an impact on people? My wife, I love my wife, and I'm not trying to point her out, but she's got asthma. She's got a lot of allergies. There's things she's so susceptible to. And as you look right in front of her, that's my little daughter. She's 9 years old, and what I didn't want her to have is the same environmental impacts my wife had. My wife didn't have control over her environment. So when I start talking about environment today, I'm not talking about the overall picture of the environment outside, the weather, climate change. I'm not really talking about that. So when I start talking about environment, it's our environment to which you're in, your house. And so my wife got exposed to a lot. There was a wood stove, there was a lot of smoke, and there was a lot of other things that might have happened in there that compromised her health system, her lungs, and she's dealing with that. I don't think anybody here sitting today would want that for their kids. Everybody, we got a beautiful little girl back here, adorable. We don't want that for our kiddos, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. And it's also changing the mindset around building. So here's kind of my thought is, and this has came to me in the last couple years, is that we have an industry that we touch people in ways that no other industry can. Now, when we start thinking about what we do in home building, sometimes it's seen as a commodity. Some people see it as a way to create wealth. Maybe they're just thinking about it as shelter. Maybe in this hot of a market, they're just happy to get a house. But really, at the end of the day, our industry touches people in a way that no other industry does. It's typically the most expensive thing they've ever done financially, the most emotional thing they've probably went through stress-wise. But what we can do is make an impact on people's lives in their health, their mental well-being. And that's what we'll talk here today about. So right here, I've got a list here of the 15 jobs that make a difference. I think we'd all agree that these are all things that would make an impact on our lives. From a teacher, the police officer, the paramedic, the firefighter, doctors. So when we think about that, I don't see home building up there, and I don't think anybody thinks home building is going to be up there. But again, this is what I want everybody here in this audience, because we're all building professionals, is to really think, how can we make a difference in somebody's life? Really, there's no reason why we couldn't make a difference in someone's life, and that's what we'll dial into. I've got two things that I want to hand people. Is anyone interested in coming up here, seeing if I can make a little bit of an impact on your life? It's at 3:30. I want to keep your attention here for a little bit. One person needs to stay here for the whole time, so you're really committed to me. The other person can leave within 10 minutes, and they'll get some goodies too. Any volunteers? If not, I'm just going to come and give you. Heather. Anybody else? Come on up. Yeah, you would have, yeah. Are you committed to being here all day with me? Thank you. At least I won't be the only, me and my wife will be the only people here. Thank you. All right, I'm going to give you this, and just give me 1 second here, and I'll talk to Heather. Heather, since you was the first person, when you came here today, you were just probably thinking there'll be something that you'll gain from this, hoping to gain something, right? But you had some expectation. So if you'll open that up. So here's what I'm trying to show you is, Heather here, I actually know Heather. She is the vice chair of green sustainability here at NHB. She didn't know I was going to do this, but Heather has got an envelope with $20. $20 from me just flying here and giving to Heather. A small impact. Wouldn't be much of an impact. Heather may not even think about that $20 from me after today. She goes and hangs out at the pool with her family. But that's the kind of small impact we're talking about. If we look at those lists of people up there, some of those people are coming into people's lives just immediately. They're leaving a lasting impact, or maybe just a short term. Heather, can you put your hands out like this? Oh, you got all the goodies out. Just give me your hands like this. Kind of face me a little bit. All right. Drop all that down. Yeah. All right. Now, let's spread it out here just a little bit. Now, put them in a ball. So what I want to be able to show here, Heather, let me see if I can get my Sharpie. So I've got a Sharpie here. And with this Sharpie, I want to show how we can make an impact and put things on people that they didn't even know that they had. Here, I'm just going to do this really quick because of time. I've made an X here on my hand. If you put both hands up, are you right-handed or left-handed? Right. All right, drop your right hand down. So what I'm going to try to do is take this Sharpie X here. I got to show you guys a little magic that I learned during the pandemic to at least keep you guys alive. All right, here you go. Now, Heather, all right, got it. Put it out here. X is gone. You feel anything? Haven't made any impact on your life besides the $20, have I? All right, if you open your hand up. There you go. Somehow or another, I was able to take that X and make an impact and put it in her hand. Thank you, Heather. And there's your money and all your goodies. What I'll ask you to do is when we get back up here, let's talk a little bit, and we'll do a little magic trick with you. How about that? Deck of cards right here, and we'll talk in just a minute. What's your name, Christy? Christy. Christy from Austin. 30 minutes, and we'll be back up here. Is that cool with you? Thank you.
So I'll go sit down?
Yes. You can stand up here with me if you want to. So, kind of thinking about how we make impacts on people's lives. Most of the time, people are not even thinking about what we can do for them as a home builder. They're just coming to us maybe because we want shelter. Maybe we just want the location. You know, in the last year and a half, we were told to go home. That was the safest place for us to be. I'm not going to be political and try to tell you if we should have went home or get into any of that. But for a good majority of Americans, home wasn't the safest place for us. Now, it was for that time being, but our homes were never seen and built in a way that really promote health and wellness. As you see from this slide right here, this is from the EPA. Our indoor air of our homes are 2 to 5 times higher than the levels of outdoors. Now, when you start thinking about it, a lot of times we think, man, the outdoor, we got smog, we got all these things going on. Here's what we've done with housing, is that we've decided now we're going to at least spend, hopefully you're getting 8 hours of sleep, maybe a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the afternoon. A lot of us are now working from home. We're in our homes the majority of our lives. And our homes wasn't made to do all that. We're doing cooking, we're doing school, we're doing work, and they wasn't really set up for that. They were set up for certain things. Definitely our older and housing stock. Inside those homes are filled with mold, mildew, formaldehyde, asbestos. Here's what was happening for the homes I was building. They was purely focused on energy efficiency. Here's what I would challenge you with when you start talking about home building, that if you can focus on health and wellness and water management, the energy efficiency will come with it. But you can build a very energy efficient home and have an unhealthy home. So let's think about that. If we build healthy, we focus on healthy, water management, all those things, energy efficiency will be a byproduct of that. So let's talk about our clients. Only 4% believe that their house or anything to do with our homes has anything to do with climate change. So we're not really making a connection point with our clients of even knowing what we can do. Energy Star is the only one that's the home certification known to the majority of Americans. EPA did a great job or Department of Energy did a great job with Energy Star in marketing. It's well known. I would challenge you to say that that's going to be hard not to give somebody. Look at this. This is what home buyers really want. This was from NHB. This book just came out this year. And if you look at the 5 most green wanted features, I believe our industry doesn't know how to ask people what we can do for them. Because here's what that give us: Energy Star windows, Energy Star appliances, efficient lighting, a rating for a home, and triple pane insulated glasses. I would say those top 3, which seem to be the majority, I don't know if you can find appliances that are not Energy Star. You'd be somewhat hard-pressed to find windows that are not Energy Star. Is this the bar that we're trying to set, that this is what people want? They don't know what we can give them. Maybe it's a failure on our part of just not having those conversations and not thinking about what can we really do for someone. So here we go. As you read this, this is also from what home buyers really want. I'm going to summarize this slide for you. It's location, location, location. Who wouldn't want these things? Of course, I would love to be near something. I'd love to walk. I'd like to jog. And I want it to have a positive presence in my life. That's getting somewhere. We have a clientele that actually wants to be seen as someone who buys eco-friendly products. So the client base is out there. I would challenge us that we don't really know how to ask them the questions, and we're not really doing a job of telling them what we can do. So here we go. This was from the Smart Market Report NHB did in 2018. What buyers want but don't know how to ask. The top social drivers are improved occupant health, well-being, and increased worker productivity. So there it was. Before a pandemic, they finally were able to summarize this. That's what buyers want, but they don't know how to come to you, or they don't even think about you as a building industry as someone who can improve their health, their well-being. As we dive into this, we're going to talk into a little bit about what we can do. This is it. It's up to us to let homeowners know what we can do. Put that connectivity about making an impact on someone's lives in there, along with the environment. So here we go. What can we do? A lot of these slides are based on, I don't want to get into green building practices. I really want to be able to show you some trends, but where it really is impactful in people's lives in things that we're doing. So you may not even consider yourself a green builder. I can't seem to find a better word than to use besides green to really talk about this. But these are all practices as anybody can be doing that really doesn't have to put you in one little category. Here we go. This is from the Shelton Group. They summarize it into 3 categories of what people are looking for. They're looking for comfort. I will tell you, I was looking for some comfort when I got off the airplane and this humidity and heat hit me. Holy cow, I don't know how you guys survived. I would have to wear like 3 shirts, I believe, here just to survive a day. But we're all looking for comfort. What is comfort? I don't really know. It's hard to define. But we all know that people will go to great lengths to try to find some comfort. I've got a little nice example there of people just having a great time. And we'll spend crazy amount of money on something we might use for 60 days and then it throws to the side. Why can't we be talking to our homeowners, our buyers, about how we're providing something that's comfortable for them? You know, when we start talking about comfort, is that we're looking at when we sit down, it's asking good questions. In your previous experiences, have you felt air just pass by you? What temperature do you like your house? And as we dive in a little bit more into it, it's asking questions about what do you plan to do in your home? Are you planning to work from home? Are you planning to exercise? This is a prime example of using mini splits for a whole entire house to have zone comfort. And a lot of times we're trying to think about where's the next trend going. In my personal house, I have now a Peloton that I ride, and I've never rode a bike in my life until the last 6 months, and I love it. I don't know if any of you guys are on there, but hopefully I'm beating you because I'm trying to find people to be competitive with, so I stay on that bike for 30 minutes. But in my house, I don't need that room that I've got that bike set up to be 76 degrees. I need it to be about 66 before I show up because I'm going to get hot, I'm going to sweat, I don't want to be working out. But also, I may need the house to be at 72 degrees somewhere else. This is an aspect of showing someone, hey, all these different levels of what's going on in your home, we can actually address that. Having conversations. We just completed 2 homes that was fully of about 2,500 square feet that were all mini splits. I didn't think it could be done and wanted to see it, how it would perform. They've got head units now. If they're where the 70 degrees is, totally disappear. I'm not sure in your market there's a ton of mini splits here, but I know that we can actually start having conversations with people about having the comfort level in their house. Second thing is control. I wish I had better control over this clicker. There we go. This isn't just to talk about smart homes, smart things. I want you to think about control being in control of your own life, your family, being in control of what matters to you. A lot of times that means we're in control of things that we don't have to worry about. We don't have to have a phone that we turn on something, turn off something. It does it automatically. We're in control. Some of the things that are happening now that I'm seeing in home building is that we're really giving people control in the fact that they've got good indoor air quality. They turn on their oven, a fan automatically comes on. They come to the bathroom, there's a timer switch in there for the bath fan to remove all the humidity out of there. Here's a good example. Here's 2 new products that just came on the market. And I don't know if anybody here does ERVs. I don't think you would do an HRV in this area. But these are sensors all throughout the house. And they're put in there strategic places to allow poor indoor air quality gets detected. It automatically turns on fans and brings in fresh air. So it's an automatic sensors. So what kind of control is that? It's seamless. It takes out the human error of everything. Automatically done. I've been in so many of my houses as I check in on homeowners who've turned off their fans or never used their fans. And we'll talk a little bit more about people's behavior inside our houses. But lastly, health. Great example here is throughout the decades, we've done all sorts of things to try to be healthy, right? Right now, the biggest is our steps. I've got a sleep number bed that I got during the pandemic, and man, that thing will tell me how well I'm sleeping. And I can get pretty bummed out. I thought I slept good. I mean, I scored an 80. Why can't I get in the 90s? My wife is hitting the 90s, and I think she's only sleeping for 4 hours. I don't get it. But we can get really caught up in all this health. And it is a billion-dollar industry. But an industry, when you start thinking about it, home building, almost everything that people are doing has something to do with health. And our homes have as much to do with our well-being, our health, than anything else that there is out there. Here's a prime example of air circulation that has some UVs in it. This is from a company called Big Ass Fan. And so this is also even for schools. And it's automatically producing cleaner, fresher air. Emotional health. I would assume everybody paints the homes that they build. Some color. Have you guys ever thought about the connection we all have with color? Every color, you have a connection point. This could be based on someone's past, their upbringing, their religious perspective, culturally, but colors really matter. We end up painting every house that we build. I bring this up is because these are small things that we can do. If we just spend a little time researching, understanding how colors affect our own livelihood, and then really talking to our customers about that. Hey, in this room, what are you looking to do? You know, maybe it's a bedroom. The red color isn't actually a really good color to have peace and relax. We've come to find that out. So it really is asking good questions of your clients and really research it. At some point, they're probably not going to know that you're going to do something for them with color and how that's going to impact their lives. A lot of these are such small things. Hopefully that example like with Heather, her having $20 that she might be able to go get a burger with, or the fact that we're doing things that just having conversations with them. This is something that we do a lot with at our company is talk about induction cooktops. Gas is typically what our clients are looking for, and we started talking to them about induction just from the standpoint of indoor air quality. Because what I've come to figure out is a lot of people are not turning their fans on. They make no connection with that flame being in there and them standing over that of how bad that is for occupants' health. We got a lot of things that we're producing in our homes. We're bringing things in our homes. We're cooking in our homes and creating a lot of moisture, humidity. This is just one of the things that we can be talking about. I say all these things because I'm following up the TAP contract, and if you guys were in here, and that seems to be a dynamite contract. I should get my hands on one of those. Maybe Lucas will help me out a little bit. But I come from the perspective is that we really want to care for our people. The people we're building for, let's make an impact and care for them, show them that. Here's what I found during the pandemic, is I needed connection with humans, people just like you guys. I don't know you, but I'm just happy to see you. I flew a long ways just to see some smiling faces and some real, just people of our industry to just have conversations. And that's what we've come to find out, is that as human beings, to have well-being, connectivity, that we really need it. There were some great spring breakers that had a lot of great connectivity during that, and maybe the teenagers have figured it out. But here's just an example of creating communities, touch points. It really is an intentional thing in your house design to have intentional connection points for people. Our front porch became one of our spots that we just wanted to go out to. We have a dog, we have a 9-year-old, and we got a front porch. Is somebody going to stop and talk to us? We need somebody. And that is really at the ingrained nature of human beings. A lot of what we're talking about here is not the stuff when I got in the building I thinking I was going to be talking about. And it is human behavior, understanding humans, a lot of the psychology of us, and how that connects to our homes. And of course, we would be failure. You'd have to be on the rock if you haven't heard the connection to nature, the outdoors, and really where home design is going with that. Now, not everybody gets the opportunity to have a home that has big views, screen porches, but even bring the outside in right there. You can see an example of just bringing in some greenery, some life inside the home. Along with that, just talking to your homeowners about bringing in plants and how that's going to improve their indoor life. But again, connection to nature, being outdoors. My last part of talking about green is this. A lot of times people talk to me and say, I am not that interested in green building. And typically, and that's why I don't want to use the word green as much. But if I ask them, are you concerned about your health? Are you concerned about your family's health? Do you want to be comfortable in your new home? What are the things you're really looking for? The one other thing that has a negative stigma is that green is ugly. That we're all so focused on other things that we forgot house design. I would challenge you to think that green at the core principle, there's something cool about coming to a house like this that makes someone just feel good. And pulling up into the driveway of that, I'd love to be in the driveway of that house right there. But here's another house, just another example of more of a affordable house. And there's just a sense of pride that comes with home ownership. There's a sense of pride that just makes people emotionally feel good to come home to. And it's probably not a green building technique, but I really do think home design. When we start focusing on home design, we can see in my market definitely, but all across the U.S., is that people will go to great lengths to take care of homes that are well designed, well built. They become a fabric of our community. We kind of know those homes. We're like, oh, I know that neighborhood. These are the kind of homes they have. There's certain things about those homes. You notice on this, connection points to the outside, connection points to neighbors, into people. All right, let's talk about a little bit more about how could you become an expert. Because I want to be able to just put a few of these things up here. I didn't go into depth about how I got to be there. It's been a long journey. But one of the best sites that I've seen, and this lady's got a personal story that's incredible, with Wellness in Your Walls. NHB, Sustainable and Green Building, if you search for that, there's a lot of good resources there on the toolkit. Builder books, of course, I went on there and there's several books about what home buyers want, even though I may have told you that we didn't ask great questions when we put that together. The High Performance Zone at the International Builder Show, and then there's two other that's got more technical, hands-on experience between Huber Home Building, Crossroads, and Construction Instruction. If you want to try to market yourself as a green building expert, the Shelton Group is a group out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and several of our slides are referencing them. They focus totally on consumers and sustainability. That is their marketplace. The National Association of Realtors and National Association of Home Builders have made a partnership on home performance counts. If you Google that, that is really about how, if you're building homes to sell, how to really market your home. If you are building a home that has some differentiators. And then the Department of Energy has a green decoder. Hopefully, everything that I've talked about hasn't got into the weeds. I could talk about green building all day long into the technical terms and everything that goes along with that. Where we need to be is talking about comfort, control, and health. And then lastly here, just talking about verifying your experience. I'm a master green building professional, and I will tell you, I got that designee about 10 years ago. And the things that I learned in that classes were the things that kind of had an impact and make me start thinking and realizing that our homes were a system. There were a whole thing working together. I'm taking components from so many different manufacturers and trying to put it together on a site to try to make it work well and try to see how it would work. Again, Wellness in Your Walls has a certification that really is focused more on a holistic wellness track. NHB has their green building standard. Again, Indoor Air Plus, and I didn't even get into water. I would assume water is maybe a topic here in Texas. Is it, Lucas? Yeah. It is starting to be a huge conversation piece, definitely in the Southwest. But I think we all got to have appreciation for water, and that's a good one there, just to kind of let people know how you're differentiating your house and verifying what you're doing. So lastly, education. Here's what I would, hopefully that you've got a little bit from what I've talked about, is impacting people's lives. They're coming to you building a house. Hopefully they're educated to some degree about who you are, what you can do for them. I'm challenging you to also start having conversations with them, asking questions to really say, hey, did you know I could do this for you? Here's what I could do for you. Do you have some health issues, or does your kid have something going on here? The next step, and this is where I'm seeing some failures in our own company, is that I hadn't told people how to live in these houses. They were operating these homes just as if they were operating a home that they lived that was 40 years old. So here's an example. This winter, we got a chance to go down to Miami to escape the cold weather of Asheville, and we rented a Tesla. Never been in a Tesla in my whole entire life, and so we just rented it. A guy dropped it off at the airport. He said, here's the little card. He didn't even give us the key. It was like a credit card. Good luck. Don't wreck it, don't dent it, I'll see you in 3 days. Well, that's great. I've drove a car, well, since 97, so I don't know how many years that's been, but I've been driving a car a long time. Used to do some drag racing back when I was younger, and so I know how to drive a car. I think. This thing still has a steering wheel, it still has gas pedals, it's got all the normal things. I'm a computer science major, so I'm nerding out because it's got a big screen, it's got all sorts of cool things, I can push stuff, I can figure that out. Next day, we decide we're going to do a food tour in Little Havana. I love some Cuban food. We get out of the car, we park it on the street, we go on the tour. But here's what I can't figure out. I don't know how to lock the doors to this Tesla. Got no clue how to lock them. We're trying to watch videos. We're going to run late to the food tour. I'm like, I think I locked them. We walk away. I'm still thinking about this Tesla that's probably a $100,000 car that I just left unlocked, and I don't know how you even start one, more or less. On the food tour, our second stop happens to walk by the car. I'm like, well, let's see here. Let's just see if this thing's locked. I grab it. It's unlocked. I have no clue, but for that food tour that went on for 3+ hours was enjoyable. There was some amazing food. If you ever get a chance to go to Little Havana, go do the food tour, amazing food. I never locked the car. I never figured out how to lock this car. It wasn't that day, the next day, the next day. I have no clue. I still don't know how to lock a Tesla. It was maybe somebody knows how. Maybe they don't lock. Maybe they don't drive off. Here's my point. We build homes that have people that are built to be healthy for people. But these are different types of homes than people have lived in. There's things going on here that we can't do now, or we have to do. And that's going back to the control. The more we can make that automated. At our company, we created a bunch of YouTube videos because I went into people's houses and they were doing all sorts of crazy stuff. They were turning off the ERV. They were getting down there messing with humidifiers. I had one couple that was actually a 2-story house running their air conditioned from upstairs, and they kept complaining about how the humidity was so high on the main level. But they were too cheap to turn on the main level, which is the way the house was performed to work and then how it needed to work. And I just scratched my head. I'm like, you've got this turned off, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, we don't run that. It does good up here. I'm like, well, there's all this moisture. You're cooking down here. You're taking showers in here. None of this is being done. So educate them. Let them know you're going to build them a house that's going to keep them well. But just as if you went to a doctor, dietitian, they're going to only do so much for you, right? You can only go and say, hey, this is what you need to eat. Here's how much you need to work out. But it's really up to the person living in there. Next step of these homes is really what are we putting into the homes? And it really is educating them also on what you're bringing into your house. Again, that was one of the things that we struggled with, is having all sorts of new furniture, new off-gassing, and all of that. So coming to that, hopefully there was some takeaways that you can get here. I'll ask, I'm sorry, ma'am, I forgot your name again. Christy, if you'll come up here. Here's what I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about. Being a trusted advisor, it is making an impact and really caring for people, letting people know. It is making our industry more than a commodity. It is trying to look at it as something that can be impactful, something that inspires the next generation in home building. I'm going to let you hold those. You can open those up. Here's the other thing, is that people don't think that we can do this for them. They don't even relate us into that. You can look and make sure that them are all, you can count them and make sure it looks like a real deck to you. So as we think about that, I want you to think about how asking good questions can really help you be able to get to how you can make a difference in someone's life. Now, here's what I ask you to do, Christy. If you'll take the cards just like you right-handed? All right, put them in your left hand just like this. Just like, all right. Yep, and I'll take the box here if you want me to. All right, if you'll take your hand, right hand like this. Take as many or as few cards as you would want, so whatever you want, put it up against your chest. All right, now, I'm going to turn around, so show a few people over there so they know what card you have in your hand. All right, tell me when you're done. You remember the card? All right, put it back in the stack. We'll put it in here. I'll take it. All right, so if you will think about that card, you'll want me to try to think of this card, I hope. Or I've flown a long ways and brought a deck of cards, and I'm going to look stupid in front of the people that are still here. Now, in a deck of cards, there's 52 cards. There's red, and there's black. There's black. Black. Is that right? Black?
They have red and black, you're right.
There is. You've got a black card. All right, so there's picture cards and number cards. Do you like number cards a little bit better, don't you? You are really tough. I thought you were going to help me figure this out. But so when we start talking to homeowners, and here's the example, you're being great, is a lot of times homeowners don't trust us, right? They won't give us their budget. They won't let us know what they're thinking. But so we've got to really start asking questions. You do like number cards. Sure. All right. So if we're going to be black, there's only 2 black. Club, spades, clubs, club, club. Yep. Thank you. That was a little smirk. That smirk gave it away. So when you start asking people really good questions, they start actually warming up to you. Christy isn't warmed up yet to me, but she will. I have a feeling. But when we start asking questions, really asking someone, hey, tell me about what you want to do first thing in the morning. You want to grab a cup of coffee? You want to go out on the deck? What is some things your home's never done for you that you just wish it did? Things of that nature, right? Christy, are you a builder? No. What do you do?
I'm in marketing.
You're a marketer. So you understand how to market and sell things and get somebody what they want, but they don't even know what it is, right? 3, 5, 6, 9, 3. Is it the 3 of clubs?
No.
It is not the 3.
It is the 3 of
It is the 3 of clubs. Good Lord, you said no. I was about to have to walk away. You really is the 3 of clubs? Beautiful, beautiful. See, asking good questions, you can always get people to, thank you for that one applause. You can get people to finally warm up to you and tell you what you want. If you, Christy, I have never met you before in my whole entire life, have I?
No, you haven't.
I have not. All right. I've been thinking about you, Christy. I got invited to come in here 3 months ago. And from that day, I've been thinking about you. And it may not have been you, but it was whoever was going to sit in that chair right there, right? And raise their hand and be willing to do this. From that time, I thought, how could I have an impact on Christy's life, not only today, but I'm hoping for a while that she'll think, who was that guy with the mohawk that come from Asheville, North Carolina, that was in Texas, and got me up there in front of a bunch of people and gave me something I didn't know that I even wanted. Did you want to be up here today? You did. All right. Open that up. Let the people know. Yeah, well, now you can. I guess I had a different plan, but yes, you can open it.
Does it have glitter?
No, it's got a sticker. Yeah, tell them what it says.
Oh my gosh. You should be in Vegas.
Well, I'm in Texas.
It says 3 of clubs.
So what she's saying is, on the card it says 3 of clubs. So somehow or another, I knew she was going to pick the 3 of clubs. She didn't know she was going to pick the 3 of clubs. That's my magic trick. You'll see me in Vegas at the Builder Show in 2 years because I'll be out of home building by then. So in there, I gave some other things. Here's what I wanted to say is look for opportunities. I'm in Texas. I might as well bring this up. I gave you a Matthew McConaughey green light sticker. Has anybody read that book, heard of that book? And in that book, he talks a lot about inspiration and making an impact and green lights and just going. Here's what I want you to walk away with. Think about where you can make an impact in someone's life, in whatever area, but we all know that we want to care for each other, care for our neighbors, and thank you, Christy.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. And that would be the end of the presentation. Information for us is down there, my email address, and I'm not sure if anybody would have questions. I can't tell you how I did that, but I'm happy to take anything else. Lucas. Yeah. So Lucas's question is like turning over a house to somebody, and this would be like the guy that met me at the airport that spent 5 minutes with me with the Tesla and said, here you go. Is we do try to spend, we spend a few times, we do a home orientation before we move somebody in and really go over how this home operates, showing them how everything is. We talk about how to do that. We'll film certain parts for them to just share with them and say, hey, this is your house is a little different, maybe a video we've done in the past. But it really is, it's before we move them in. We try to do it about 20 days ahead of time while we have power on and that. And then try to revisit them 30 days later and tell them what they're doing wrong. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Christy.